too.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay, we're live.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's Chicago time. It's Saturday in the park, and it's every Saturday we're here at the External Bum Show. My name is Ralph Williams. Oh, yeah. Sorry about being late this morning. We had some technical issues from the streaming company. Scott Morganroth from the South Florida Tribune's coming up. Here comes Leo Haggerty from Amped Up Sports, and Jacob Christner will be our guest today.
What's going on, guys? Hey, Scott, I love it that you're irritating the woke mob by putting on the Seminole shirt this morning.
Oh, I don't know. I like to mix it up on shirts today, so I thought it was time to plug the Sems. Let me tell you something about them, though. In my dealings with Florida State Seminoles, they've been really great to me, so I might as well give the Seminoles a little love this morning. I never know what shirt I'm going to wear from day to day. I got millions of them.
Yeah, after last night, they need a little love. Believe me, that was painful.
Oh, was it? I don't know. I didn't even pay attention.
Oh, they were up 4 runs in the ninth and lost 12-11.
You know what I was doing at 7 o'clock last night? I was watching NCIS.
Nice. How great.
All right.
Got to
All right,
take a break from sports once in a while, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, I want to welcome you to this morning's show. Welcome, everybody. Sorry we're late again. It's a great Saturday morning here. And first, we're going to get started with our introductions. First, we'll start with Jacob Christner. Jacob, you're our guest. You introduce yourself, please. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Jacob Christner. I was on Sideline Sports and with Scott, the pundit for about 3 years. And I'm kind of a guest on this show right now. And Scott and I are good buds. And it's nice to be able to be back for at least a day, you know?
All right. Thanks, Jacob. I appreciate you being here today. It's great to have you. Leo Haggerty, Amped Up Sports. Go ahead with your introduction.
Yeah, Leo Haggerty, Amped Up Sports Network. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. Had a real nice interview with Coach Amir Abdul-Rahim yesterday, talking about that magical season they had last year. Also got a couple questions in with the new women's golf coach, AJ Newell, and the new men's baseball coach. Well, I don't think there's a women's baseball. Men's baseball, Mitch Hannes. Both had very interesting comments. Go to YouTube or go to Facebook. Catch that.
All right, Scott Morgan, South Florida Tribune. Good morning, Scott. How are you today?
Good morning, Ralph. And yes, Jacob's always great to be on the same air with you all day long. We are buds in more ways than one. And I'm the author of this. Lessons from the Microphone, tuning into the enduring wisdom visionary leaders. I'm going to be working on another one later this year. Anyways, I am the owner of the South Florida Tribune and the broadcasting network that goes with it. And yes, look at this. Unbelievable, Ralph. Yeah, if you're a believer, you're a believer. Don't worry, Haggerty will get you one too at some point as well.
It'll be my page coming on your show. A copy of a signed copy of your book.
You'll get it. Don't worry about it. I mean,
all I can remember from your book is that you remember the show Fame from the 80s?
Yes.
Yeah,
you remember? He looked like Bruno. He looked like Bruno. He looked like Bruno from the Fame.
Well, I don't know about that. I remember it. Doesn't mean I remember the content.
No, you have to look it up. Look his picture up with Muhammad Ali, and he looks like Bruno from Fame.
Well, cool. I'll take those comparisons all day long. Anyway, reach me. You go on Twitter at Tribune South, and please subscribe to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. South Florida Tribune YouTube channel is looking to get as many subs as we can, and you see all these great people on there. So what can I say?
All right, guys. This is our studio sponsor today is Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, 724 201-0500. Call Mata today. You ought to call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. This first segment is our bum segment where we go around here and everybody gives out their bum. So in this segment is brought to you in part by the original hometown pizza, Moon Township, University Boulevard, 412-264-4444. Eat in, takeout, or delivery in the Moon area. Call them today. Tell them Ralph Williams sent you. You will get a discount on your order. The original hometown pizza, Moon Township, University Boulevard. Okay, Jacob, you're our guest today, so we start off with you. Your bum for today.
when I saw Jaden Daniels sign that contract to the Commanders, all I can think of is the giant mistake they got that getting Caleb Williams. That is the bum. That is the bum. They signed a TMZ of a personality. They did it. They didn't think of anything else. They had the painted nails. They didn't think of anything else. And meanwhile, Tom Brady does that big time speech for his Hall of Fame at the Patriots, showing what a dog is. So the thing is, and the Washington's got that dog. So yeah, the Bears are the bum.
All right. Next we have Leo Haggerty, your bum.
I'm going to pick a recent one, and you may not think this is a bum, but I'm picking the Boston Celtics, and here's why. The hardest game to win in any playoff series is the first one, and the next hardest one to win in any series is the last one. Yeah, I bet the Celtics thought, well, you know what? Let's just go out and show up, and we'll win this in Boston in the fifth game. I'll tell you what, you're playing with fire there, because if you have another, hiccup, now it's game 6 back in Dallas. You don't want to go to game 7 and have to win that one. So when you got somebody a foot in the grave, you want to bury him. When you got your foot on the throat, you want to choke them out. They had that shot. They didn't do it. They're my bum.
Okay, Scott Morganroth.
Jacob, you really are a natural for this show, especially on the bum side after coming off a show like Pundit's Pundit, because knowing you get like 4 every show anyways. Mine's going to be the Edmonton Oilers, okay? And the reason why I say that is after the Panthers finished them off, because this team is on a mission to close this thing out to win their first cup title. Let's face reality. Sergei Bobrovsky has had a heck of a playoff run altogether, but what he's done in the last couple series versus the Rangers, as well as what he's doing to the Oilers, this Panthers team looks very unstoppable right now. They really do. So Edmonton Oilers, what can I say? He had a good run, but the team he ran into here is a buzzsaw.
Hey, Ralph, can I add one more just for the deal?
Sure.
I'm gonna put bums fans online. I'm going to say this part. Let me say this part. Between all the situations with Luka, and they just absolutely attacked him for the first 3 games, and all of a sudden you got to forget him. Then they call Connor McDavid, Connor McWorthless, when they lose first 3 games. Here's the thing to the fans to realize. The other team is ready too. The other team's ready also. And fans are garbage. They think that their fans think that this is what happens when you think your people are invincible. Then you get mad when they're not, and then you gamble too much. Then you do all this. This is where the issue is a problem. Mr. McWorthless, Luka had 34 points a game this year. Guess what? Joe Mazzulla is an amazing coach. They're ready. Everything is. These guys are ready. Quit being an idiot.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Ralph. I'm
Yes,
sorry
yes,
to interrupt you. Let me add to Jacob a little bit. There would be no show that would be complete unless Jacob Christner could criticize and jump all over fans. I've seen this act so many times, and I've never seen a guy who does such an unbelievable job hammering fans. And you know what? I respect that about my buddy Christner. I really do. I mean, this guy is consistent. We got a new nickname for Jacob Christner. You ready? Jacob Consistent Christner. Remember that. So I want you to remember that, and you will be quizzed when we talk later. So Jacob Consistent Christner, who hates fans. There you go.
All right. Okay, next, I'm going to give my bum, and my bum is Nathan's hot dog. And I'm going to tell you this right now, Nathan's Hot Dog. You will never, ever get my business again after you terminated Joey Chestnut from the July 4th Nathan's Hot Dog eating contest. And get this now. He's going to participate in another contest September 2nd. And then I got this to tell you, too. All right. He took his competition with him. Okay. So now he's got the Joey Chestnut has himself and his competition going to September 2nd. And Nathan's, I hope nobody shows up for this thing, because you know why? That's what you get. And you're my bum today. All right, guys, let's get that segment was brought to you by the original Hometown Pizza, 412-264-4444, Moon Township, University Boulevard. Call them today, eat in, takeout, or delivery.
Hey, Ralph, let me, you know what? That segment was one of the best ones I've ever seen you have. Here's what I have to say before you get to all your other stuff, business.
Go ahead.
Okay? Number one, we need to find a sponsor here for hot sauce, because every time you go off like that, okay, I mean, now you've convinced me not to buy Nathan's Hot Dogs anyways, but forget the Chestnut. It'll be Kobayashi, I think, is his opponent.
Yeah,
but
I couldn't pronounce his name.
I'm back. I've got your back, Williams. Don't worry. So you need, your homework before you come on next Thursday night is you need to find the name of a hot sauce. What is that hot sauce that it comes in a little bottle? I'm trying to remember what it is.
Yeah, Hot Rod, I think it is, or something.
Yeah, whatever. We'll just say Hot Rod.
But I'll have it for you on Thursday for the fire up.
Yeah, so, well, you're fire up, you and your Kobayashi. I love it, man. Look at you. I've never seen this guy go ballistic like this. Passion, but
yes, that's right. Bring your passion. Hey, Leo. How's Peter say? Bring your passion. Bring your, So there you go.
Your passion, bring your excitement. Ralph brings his hot dog. Okay.
That's right.
Your hot sauce. I'll have to go ahead and see what it is and take a picture of it and send it to you.
I don't even use hot sauce because I have some health issues. I can't be having
What's
stuff
that
like
got
that.
to do with you getting it as a sponsor, you knucklehead? This is about this.
I know. I'll take care of it. I will. I'll get on it.
You got to just realize there are people that put their own stuff on a thing all the time and don't even drink.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, a beer or something. Who cares?
Well, yeah. Buffalo sauce is my spice, but that's not the one I'm looking at. I'll find it, though, for you, Ralph. Only for you, buddy.
All right. Let's get started with our topics for today. The first one is first segment is brought to you by Sleep Pittsburgh, 412-462-785 at 8th Avenue, Homestead. Sleep Pittsburgh, for the best sleep tonight. They have day beds, futons, mattresses, a whole lot more. Go to 8th Avenue in Homestead or check them out online at sleeppittsburgh.com as well. No credit check financing for the best sleep tonight. Okay, first segment, Dan Hurley turning down the Lakers job, $70 million. Guys, I think this was a LeBron James tactic by Hurley. I think he didn't want it. I think he just basically figured, stay in college, accomplish more, don't have to put up with LeBron James. $70 million is hard to turn down. But you know what? Sometimes the grass is not always greener on the other side. Jacob, you're our guest. We'll start with you today.
Ralph, you've got more sponsors than a 12-step program. I swear. But no, the thing about it is the fact, first off, that was his wife. He already said his wife is going pretty nuclear on the idea just because their life was perfect. But you got to realize this part, big time. LeBron is a coach killer. Yeah. He's an absolute unmitigated coach killer. That is like, I'm surprised he thought about it this long. It's like, okay, so guess what? Guess who's next? Probably J.J. Redick, who's never coached, which means on his little plate board is going to be pass it to LeBron. I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot of X's and O's to this. But the big issue with something like this is just the fact that if you take LeBron out of that game, out of that deal, right, so whatsoever, it's still Los Angeles. It is bright lights, big city, red carpets, everything. The issue is LeBron James. He wants to coach. He wants to GM. He wants to do all that. There's the problem. It's like you're not going. I mean, Dan Hurley shows you're not going to get anybody but, say, a J.J. Redick or a J.R. Smith like they're talking about. You're not going to get anybody but those types because, well, you definitely won't be J.R. Smith with LeBron. But you're not going to get anyone but those types, because you got to have someone as a quote unquote beginner to say, pass it to LeBron and don't argue with him. So that's just the thing. Dan Hurley wouldn't have been afraid of LeBron. That would have been the end of the thing, because they would have fired him before the season. I mean, they would have fired him before the season was over.
All right, Scott.
Yeah, that's amazing. It bring up a lot of good points, Jacob. But here's the thing. Okay, Dan Hurley knows he wants to go after that third championship in a row to put himself in John Wooden territory. But again, when you look at the fact that I heard figures of upward of about $100 million, and the offer turned out to be 70, and Monty Williams of the Pistons is earning $76.5 million, to begin with. And I think Monty will ultimately get it turned around with the right people. But LeBron James is, I think, one of the biggest coach killers I've ever seen. But this isn't not precedent that big names turned down the Lakers. Mike Krzyzewski turned down that job when Kobe Bryant was playing, and now turn the clock forward a little bit, and Dan Hurley is saying no to LeBron James. Now, here's a little thing about J.J. Redick. Again, I don't care what he thinks anyway. He probably may say, I don't want this job. If I was a leading candidate all along, and now all of a sudden I'm going to be your second option. Knowing Redick, he probably has a ego bigger than Mount Everest anyways. It doesn't matter whether you keep him on the floor or not. But again, Dan Hurley, you have to look at the option anyways. You're talking about a franchise which has won 17 world championships, when will fall behind 18 to 17 after Boston does ultimately take care of business with Dallas, albeit a game later. But I agree. I mean, LeBron James, to me, whether it's him or they're going to draft his kid, I don't even know. I mean, how they're going to pull it all together. But to me, to get rid of Frank Vogel and Darvin Ham getting a raw deal, which he did get, to me, I wouldn't have taken that job either. Stay home in Connecticut, build your own legacy. And Dan Hurley, like Jim Calhoun, will have a statue outside of stores in no time.
All right, Leo.
Gentlemen, let me give you a little bit, okay? I'm a Jersey guy. Dan Hurley's a Jersey guy. We both were, he's a coach, I was a coach. Let me give you a little bit of what it means to be a head coach with a Jersey mentality. It's a dictatorship. It's not a democracy. I can guarantee you that when Dan Hurley went into that interview, his first question was, if there's a dispute between LeBron and I, who are you going to back? And I can guarantee you they gave him an answer that he just said, okay, we're done. I'm not going to do this. Dan Hurley wants total control. Now, the next contract that comes up in Connecticut, he's already sent a message that, hey, I'll be looking if it's the right place. But believe me, Dan Hurley has complete and ultimate control of the men's basketball program in Connecticut. That's Jersey. That's the way we deal. That's the way we roll. He wasn't going to L.A. because LeBron, why not make LeBron the player coach? Because he doesn't want that on his legacy that he was a failed coach, because, hey, he just wants to point the finger at somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I'm sorry to interrupt, bro. You know what, Leo? That's a great point. I think at this point, LeBron should be a player coach. Hell, Bill Russell did it, right? And here's another thing about when you look at the Lakers. Jeannie Buss never viewed Jerry West as one of the top 5 Lakers of all time, which I think was a mistake in more ways than one, because not only what he did on the floor, but what he did off the court as well to get him all those championships. So, you know what, Leo? I would love to see LeBron James be a player coach. I really would. And you'll find out how easy it is or isn't, right? But to me, that's why I could never rate LeBron James as one of the top 3 or 4 players of all time if you base history on what that assessment is, because I don't have a lot of respect for LeBron. He's only won 1 championship by himself. Okay, 1 by himself, got 2 with Dwayne Wade and company in Miami, and he got his 4th one during the pandemic year, which should have an asterisk next to it anyway. They had the right coach here with Frank Vogel, but you got too much dysfunction there with Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka, and that's why Dan Hurley's staying in Connecticut.
Do you know the difference? Do you know what's in common between Tiger and LeBron right now? You know what's in common? The biggest thing that's in common with Tiger and LeBron is the fact that you've got two egos that are chasing ghosts that keep moving dust away from that are making them suck dust. Jack Nicklaus and Michael Jordan. They all want to catch those guys and become the greatest ever, but the longer they go, the worse it gets. The worse it gets. I mean, Tiger just missed the thing yesterday, missed the cut yesterday. They just keep doing it. Then all of it is ego. LeBron keeps coming to the thing and trying to make his, and he wants to catch Jordan and do all that stuff. Jordan just keeps away. I mean, when Jordan does more and more shoes and does more and more things, he just keeps getting away from LeBron, and all of it is ego.
Well, you know what I have in common, okay, with LeBron and Tiger Woods? Our birthdays are 3 days in a row. I'm the 29th. I think LeBron's is the 30th and Tiger Woods the 31st. Either or, they're so LeBron James and Tiger Woods' birthdays are a day and two after mine on the 29th. And we're all Capricorns.
All right, guys, let's move on to our next segment, which is brought to you in part by draft412.com/draftnation, $9.99 a month, and you can get yourself a subscription to their e-magazine, which will put in your inbox. Talks about all kinds of different drafts, NHL, Major League Baseball, NBA, and also the NFL draft. Anything that involves the draft, draft412.com/draftnation is the website to be a part of. They also have podcasts with JT Toth, Joe Kuklis, and a whole lot of other guys on there. Dave Finoli, who just came out with another book. So, guys, check out draft412.com/draftnation, $9.99 a month, and you can get yourself inside your inbox. You can get yourself the information. The death of Jerry West and what it meant to the NBA. We'll start with you, Scott.
Well, again, the logo was designed with Jerry West in mind. I unfortunately never had a chance to meet him. You know, I've been down in South Florida for a while, and even when I was covering the team, it's like I never had a lot of contact with the opposing team a whole lot. And of course, the only thing I could have done is if we were in the lunchroom together. But Jerry West, to me, played at a time when he lost. I think it was he only won one championship during that incredible run that Boston had, but he proved that he could do it on and off the floor. Think about it. He made Memphis relevant. The LA Clippers have been really good for many years, and he won titles as a consultant with Golden State. And then, of course, we all know what he did with the Lakers. So it's a really, really big loss for the NBA world. And again, we seem to be losing a few of them lately with Bill Walton and Jerry West going within a couple of week time. So it's sad, and if Jacob and I had Basket Bros keep going on, that's certainly a topic we probably would have talked about. But Jerry West is just Jerry West. I think if you're going to have an individual for whom to have a logo patterned after, it's definitely him. And again, I could sit here and add another bum that right now that I think about it off the top of my head, Jeannie Buss. How do you not think that he's one of the top 5 Lakers all time? She's delusional. So rest in peace, Jerry. That's all I have to say.
All right, Jacob.
Jeannie was, and I give this point on something like that, but the biggest thing about it is Jeannie was also like about 22 or something, some real young number when she was around Magic and everybody the whole time. So Jerry West was kind of in the end of everything. So I'm not going to say that she's right. She wasn't, but that was the thing about it. That's all she saw was like Magic and Magic and Showtime. But here's the thing with Jerry West, the Roger Federer of basketball. Smooth, dance. Watch him on the court, dance. He had those dancing feet. Very smooth player on that court. Everything just like made it look easy. And it's like I always say this, and I've never said this on our shows, and I should have, Scott. If Larry Bird played exactly like Jerry West, he'd play 20 years because he wouldn't have been injured. He played like he was running through a brick wall. Jerry West was Mr. Smooth, like a dance guy on the floor. but he also had the combination of, like he said himself, I was a wolf and I ate dogs. He had that combination of that. It's like he was smooth. He was like Roger Federer on the thing, real smooth, like a dancer, but at the same time, he wanted to win. And he had a tenacious streak. He just didn't kill himself like Bird did. Just like, do all that. But that's the big thing about Jerry West by itself is look at the rings he has he has the 2 as a player, then the executive, then he helped 2 teams, like basically almost 3. You rebuild. I mean, think greatest executive of all time, one of the greatest players of all time. And it's like we're not. And plus the fact there's a video that I see every once in a while, and it shows him at a basketball camp. He was 75 years old, hadn't shot a ball in 2 years, and he showed him how to shoot, and he didn't miss. He shot from like 2 feet, and he shot back to 20 feet and didn't miss. And it's like it shows that those professionals, you never forget.
But the one thing that has to be brought out here is we knew that Golden State was a juggernaut. We all know about the Lakers. But when you make positive contributions to the Memphis Grizzlies and the LA Clippers, that to me is what shows you what your worth really is. And that's why, there's a lot of reasons why this guy is iconic, but don't overlook the work that he's done in Memphis with the Clippers.
Yeah.
All right. Leo.
You know what, guys? I'm going to get a little nostalgic here. Early in my coaching career, but we're talking now back in 1977, 78, I had a chance to work the Jerry West basketball camp out in California. Out of all places in California. And we're sitting there after, a day at camp. And I asked Jerry, I said, give me the best Wilt Chamberlain story you have. He said, I'm going to give it to you. We're playing for the championship. If we win this, we're there. Wilt decides he's hungry, and he decides to eat a cheese sandwich and a piece of apple pie at halftime. And all Wilt did was go out and control the second half. And the thing about Jerry West is he was relatable. You would look at him as a father and you would say to your son, that's the guy you want to emulate. That's the guy you want to take after. He's not getting in trouble. He's not doing stupid things like flashing a gun out on social media. He's just going out, he's playing hard. And remember, back when he was at West Virginia, his dad passed away the day before a game. And his mom said, your dad would want you to play. And he did, in honor of his dad. So, yeah, this is you lose Bill Walton, you lose Jerry West. That's 2 super icons that the NBA can't really afford to lose right now.
Right.
They're losing viewers because people are having trouble watching this game right now.
Oh, I know. I haven't watched it in a long time, guys, and I haven't followed the NBA, as I've said many times, since Jordan was involved in it. But I do talk about it occasionally, stuff like this here with Dan Hurley and the death of Jerry West, Bill Walton, things like that. I remember those nostalgic days, like Leo said, it's nostalgic back in the day. You didn't have social media, you didn't have these guys, doing this, that, and whatever, trying to take control of a team. Which of course, the coach was the coach, the player was the player. Now you have LeBron James trying to be a coach, and nobody wants a coach, in LA and all that other stuff. So, it's a typical thing that goes on. But all right, let's get into
Ralph. One more thing before we get to the thing. I was going to say, hey, Leo, I'm going to add something to yours. Do you think it is a coincidence that all of a sudden we have a Larry Bird museum in Terre Haute? And they show it all over the place on the videos, on ESPN, on all that kind of stuff.
Did you see him on the commercial for Allstate?
Yes, he's there on
that
Allstate.
one. Yeah,
he's there on Allstate, and then you see him doing these interviews. He doesn't like interviews, but he's doing interviews, and he's doing all this stuff. Do you think it's a coincidence that you're seeing this? Michael Jordan's barely on camera anymore. We've seen him a little bit. The NBA wants the NBA wants these guys around because I mean, and they sure as heck don't want to lose Charles Barkley, who wants to retire because of the thing, and they don't want to lose Shaq in them. They want these guys around because they don't. LeBron is not a replacement.
Right.
He's not. He's too much of his own ego. They want these old guys around still.
Well, here's the thing that's important to mention, okay? And I want to talk about what Leo's mentioned here. I'm going to elaborate on this. The NBA can be described in one word. Okay, ready? Unwatchable.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Unwatchable. It is. You know, I don't cover, I'd love to cover the Miami Heat, but they're too far downtown from where I live. And I lost my passion for basketball when I'm a Pistons guy through and through between, albeit they're going through hard times, but they're unwatchable. I only watch the NBA Finals or playoffs unless the Bucks are involved, because my other half obviously pulling for them. But, you know, to me, unless they can go back to playing 80s basketball where defense matters, players are players, coaches are coaches, and general managers are what they are, who cares? I have other things to do. I'm involved with sports my whole week anyhow, so I don't mind taking a break once in a while or not even putting TV on so I can veg and prepare for all the things I have to do on my network and the appearances that I make when I'm not on my network. So unwatchable is the only thing. And you know what, Jacob, you're right. They need these older ones to hang around.
Yes.
But you know what? Charles Barkley, and I met him. He's in my book. I'm sure you guys know when you get that far. And I think Charles Barkley at the National Sports Media Association, thanks for saying everything that we all want to say. He said, no problem. I don't mind for taking it. No, I love talking to you. You know, he said, so we had a good old time getting up. But he said, you know, this league is so bad that he can't even stomach it anymore.
Oh,
right.
I mean, that's why they watch Caitlin Clark. That's why they watch it. It's like no matter what and stuff like that with the shots. They also showed a play with her doing a nutmeg to Aaliyah Boston, the pass between the legs. That's a Larry Bird pass, the nutmeg. She did.
Well, you know what, Jacob? The WNBA right now supposedly is supposed to be, their viewership's up because of Caitlin Clark and that other woman from LSU who's playing as well. Yeah. And if it wasn't for them, nobody would even watch the WNBA. The WNBA,
no question about it, Ralph. You know what, Ralph? That's a great point, and I'm going to, if you don't mind me elaborating on that.
Sure, go ahead.
It won't be long before this league finds itself in trouble because you can't alienate, to me, the upcoming stars. Now, I compare Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark to Magic and Bird. That they'll take this league to another level if the players don't rebel. And I'll make another prediction on this very show right now. I do believe, I don't know why I have this feeling, but I'm making it a prediction on the External Bump Show now. Caitlin Clark winds up on that Olympic team by hook or by crook. I don't know how.
Caitlin and Angel are facing each other today at noon. And that's good. And here's the thing. She also went to Washington. They had to fill they filled the Wizards Center.
Right.
20,664 because of her.
Well, there you go. Magic and Bird.
Right, Leo, your thoughts. Go ahead, Leo.
Normally play at a 4,200 seat arena, and all of a sudden it's playing. You know what, guys? I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. This is all Caitlin Clark. It has nothing to do with Angel Reese.
Oh, I agree.
It's all Caitlin Clark. And, I put this out as my screaming from the cheap seats at the U.S. Women's Basketball Olympic Committee. And everybody said, oh, she's not one of the 12 best players. Guess what? She's the best shooter right now. Period. End of story. Drop the frickin' mic. She is that good. Who do you want with the ball down 3 in a women's basketball game?
Well,
what's the first person that comes to your mind? Caitlin Clark. Nobody else. And you know what, ladies? You're playing in the WNBA. You better stop complaining, because if you kill this golden goose, nobody will watch you.
I've got a great fact for you guys. You ready? The Fever attendance last year through 20 games, the entire year, was 81,336.
Whoa.
Ready? Hold on. Okay, it gets better.
Okay.
This year, through 5 games, it's 82,857. What does that mean? They've already surpassed it. And you got 15
they're over 120,000 right now.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said before, and I'll say it again, if it wasn't for them too, all right, girls there, This WNBA, forget about it. Nobody would even be talking about it. And now they're on Ion, and they're and everyone's talking about it and everything else. So, all right,
that
guys.
stat that I gave you was loaded, Ralph. Think about it.
Right.
81, 336, 82, 857, 5 games and 20. I mean, we still have a lot of season left to go.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys, let's talk about the NFL a little bit. Trevor Lawrence got a huge contract. Here we are again, guys. The ripple down effect. Trevor Lawrence gets this money. Now everybody else wants it. We'll start with you, Leo.
You know what, guys? It's going to have to come to a point where you look at what these guys can do. It's are you a suspect, a prospect, or are you a franchise? That's the thing. Trevor Lawrence, yeah, Jacksonville needs to sign him because he can be the face of this franchise. And you know what, guys? When I look at what they're doing in Chicago and all this craziness coming out of Chicago, we're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to win the NFC North.
Yes.
You know what? When you listen to this foolishness and they say, well, he's got all these weapons around him. Well, guess what? He's a rookie. And you know what?
He's garbage.
Other than C.J. Stroud last year, all rookies played like rookies. They were struggling. They were terrible. And when C.J. Stroud got to the playoffs, he found out, hey, welcome to season 2, where you have no idea what's going on. I tell you what, I think the guy who's going to be the best quarterback to come out of this entire draft is the guy in Atlanta, because he can sit. He can watch for a year, maybe 2, while Kirk Cousins plays. And if he gets hurt, you know what? Penix can walk in. But look at all these quarterbacks now that are really at the top of their game. Mahomes sat. Aaron Rodgers sat. Tom Brady sat. The game goes exponentially faster for a quarterback coming up because they are going to show you defenses that you've never seen before. And again, I'm going to go back to about 10, 15 years ago when defensive philosophy changed. You're going to always be able to hit an open receiver. The defensive philosophy now is we're going to confuse the coverage so you can't find him, and we're going to get to you before you find him. When that started to happen, all of a sudden the game changed. Now you saw these short check down passes. I call them long handoffs because you got to negate the rush. You got to protect the quarterback. And I'll tell you what, guys, they're worth their money. And I got one last thing. Peter Blake and I go round and round about this. They talk about the Brady effect, how he took less money. Well, you know what? When your wife makes more money than you do, you can
afford to take less money. Exactly. Jacob.
Well, Scott, how many times on the pundit, okay? I'm going to say this part. Over those years, okay? We're going to bring up the Caleb Clark thing for not Caleb Clark, Caleb Williams. We're going to bring this up before anything. I'm going to bring this up. How many times in all of those years, and I did it for a decade, for about 5 years before that, did I predict how horrible James Harden was in the playoffs? When everybody else. How many times did I just bang it in people's heads?
I can't count that eye.
How many times did I bang it that Justin Fields was wrong?
I can't count that eye.
Now I'm doing it with, all of you guys are seeing what I do on Facebook. I bang it down people's throats. I did it with Jordan Love, and I was wrong, but I'm not wrong often. The thing the biggest thing of why you get a Trevor Lawrence signed is because there's going to be some bad quarterbacks that they overpay from the rookie class that they're going to be getting rid of. And then if you don't pay Trevor, he's going to get his money there. And that's what it's going to be. And it's like, and I'm going to say forever they were wrong with Caleb. He is Mr. TMZ. They want him for the Hard Knocks. They did all this stuff. You want them to see him paint his nails. They want to see him cry on screen. They want him for their mental health initiatives.
Right.
They don't want the dog. The dog is Jaden Daniels. And personally, I said I wanted Bo Nix too. I want dogs to play like what they were. Not saying Bo Nix is the most perfect, but he played with a broken leg at Auburn.
Right.
I want a dog that wants it. Caleb Williams is
somebody that's hungry. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
And
Yeah, Jacob, somebody
Daniels
that's
is
hungry.
hungry. You see
Oh,
Jaden
yeah.
Daniels at LSU, the way he played, he's hungry.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm going to throw this out to you.
Go ahead.
Jaden Daniels ran 85 yards against Florida untouched. That tells you what kind of athlete he is. But my brother Tom out in Chicago hit the nail on the head about Caleb Williams.
He's garbage.
How's he going to be? He said he's not going to be he's not going to be any good because he's not going to have 5 or 6 seconds to throw the ball like he did at USC. They're going to be on top of him like white on rice.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a crazy year with these rookie quarterbacks. Scott, you're up. Go ahead.
Here's the thing, okay? I've covered the Jacksonville Jaguars the last several years. I didn't cover them last year. My buddy Dan Edwards retired, and his successor, David Wolf, went on to the Houston Rockets. So I took a year off to focus more on college football. But it doesn't mean I don't pay attention to what's going on with Jacksonville. And I do I'm on their media distribution list. Here's the thing. They had to sign Trevor Lawrence. I've talked to him a few times, one of the most down-to-earth guys you'll ever meet. His personality is ideal for that market. It really is. I mean, he'll have a statue outside of that building, the new building, or whatever they're going to reconstruct and the place up. He's a down-to-earth kid. He can flat-out play. You put players around him, he'll be fine. He could be king of Jacksonville all day long. So they had to make the move to retain him. And when you look at that quarterback class, he's the only one that got a second contract. The only one.
Right.
And you got to give the guy a mulligan playing 1 year with Urban Meyer. I mean, come on,
Yes.
really? You think you're going to hold that against him?
Yeah, he gets a Hall pass for that.
Well, look at the yards he still had even with that. That tells you something.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. But then Doug Peterson pretty much said, hey, Trevor, I mean, this is what I hear up there as well as through my media release. Forget about everything first year. Don't worry about it. You got paid. You got the money. Good enough. We start all over. And when a coach tells you, forget about everything you learned the first year, you got a problem. And again, but he's a leader there. He's respected, Trevor Lawrence, and he's talented. And they have Mac Jones in there from the Patriots as a backup.
Right.
He's from the area. So I think the Jacksonville quarterback situation will be good for a while. You have to put pieces around Lawrence to make this a more efficient team. And you have an excellent coach in Doug Peterson. So I'm happy. I mean, the other quarterbacks in this year's rookie class, I won't formulate an opinion until I see them on the field at least 1 year. Anything I would say now about them would be way too premature. I really do. And although I will mention Caleb Williams, you were so quick to get rid of Justin Fields. We'll see how well Caleb Williams handles in that environment when so many quarterbacks haven't been able to do it.
He's
I can't
garbage.
remember exactly. I can't remember the last time the Bears had a quarterback throw for 3,000 or 4,000 yards in a year.
The 4,000 never. The 4,000 had a shot, but then they replaced him with Foles.
Right.
Remember Mitchell Trubisky at 16 games had over 4,200 yards.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. But just to let you know, I know you have one more topic. I got about 5 minutes. Let's get to it.
Yes. Okay. Our main topic today, guys, is college athletes filed for bankruptcy. Deion Sanders' son has just filed for bankruptcy. Who do we blame? Okay, so let's get started. Jacob, since you have 5 minutes, you go first.
Deion, you blame him because this is the thing about money. And it's like, this is a parental deal whatsoever that you need to be able to do. Why is Shiloh the filing? Why is this filing? Not to say that Deion needs to bail him out. Not saying that, but why is he filing already? You know why? It's because they're living this lavish life.
Yes.
They're living the lavish life. And then it's like the big thing you gotta realize with a lot of these whatsoever. The one thing I like changing, we used to talk about it on Pundit in the time, is that there's more business-minded people. There is a email I get every day called Boardroom now, just talking about all of the athletes that are doing business deals. We've got that now. You have these options, but even then you're filing all of this, and it's like, it's stupidity. It's the parent, or it's even the colleges that tell them to give them business classes, give them all of this, quit trying to live lavish. They just talked about Jaylen Brown. Brown that has he's got about $300 million stacked in right now. and he's basically got a regular 2-story house in Massachusetts. There's a regular 2-story, and then there's like people saying how boring he is, and it's like it's because he's got about 5 businesses right now. He's got all this. He's trying to make generational wealth.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
We got to teach these kids generational wealth, not ice, not bling, not all this.
Right.
Teach them generational wealth and teach them business.
Jacob, why don't you promote yourself before you leave? Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, and thanks for being on the show today.
No problem. Not a lot of places right now. I'm not on a lot of spots. I do go on with any kind of guest type of deal, but I've also got a little idea that I'm building up on. I am on the TikTok. I call it Gem City Times. Basically a little news type thing. I'm doing a little thing of news local for Quincy, Quincy, Illinois news, and the world and international. So I'm doing little things on TikTok, and I'm doing it on Twitter, just something small right now. And then on Facebook, Gem City Times.
I thought you were off Twitter.
Sort of, but I'm not on it much. I just put on clips. I just don't argue on it.
Okay.
All right. Jacob, have a great one. Thank you for being part of the program. Sorry about the delay because we had some technical issues.
Yeah, no problem. I'll tell you more about it, Scott.
Okay.
All right. Jacob, thank you for being part of the show. And Leo, you're next. These athletes that are found for bankruptcy.
You know what, guys? My secondary bum was going to be the NCAA, and here's why. Well, I was giving blood the other day, and by the way, I'm very close to hitting 100 gallons after 35 years, so I'm very proud of that. Ralph, I'll send you the picture. I was the donor this month, and there's some.
I'm glad you give blood. We need a lot more people.
Mostly, I give platelets, which is white blood cells to help out the cancer patients. But when you look at what's going on, I watched a documentary about all these athletes that had gone broke. But what really resonated in my mind was this one agent that came on and said, here's the problem. Colleges will not allow agents or financial advisors to come in and give these kids advice because they say, okay, their amateur status is done. Then he said one thing that really caught my ear. Most of these kids that are signing these big contracts had never had $100 in their pocket. Now they're trying to come up and do this and do that. And believe me, especially in the African-American community, when people find out you're going to make money, relatives and friends come out of the woodwork, and it's tough for them to say no. They need to allow colleges to have people come in and do symposiums on insurance, investment, media, what you do with your life, what is interest, compound interest. They need to come in and sit down with these kids and show them this is what you can do. Because with NIL now, a lot of these kids are going to come out millionaires. But you know what? You're going to pay taxes.
Right, and they don't know how to handle their money, Leo. That's the bottom line right there, and that's why we're where we are. And you're right, the NCAA is partially to blame for this too, and so is the media or some of the media. I'm not saying our media. I'm saying some of these other media people that make us, fake news and everything. It's what I mean about some of these kids. Scott, go ahead.
All right. Well, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to blame it on Shiloh Sanders and Deion Sanders. Okay. Sure. And I'll tell you why I'm going to do that. Number one, okay, Shiloh Sanders has been watching his dad forever. And, you're in college, kid. Okay. You're not in the pros. Okay. By the way, some breaking news that just came across the wire. It looks like United Football League kicker Jake Bates is going to sign a 2-year deal with the Detroit Lions. Bates obviously kicked for the Michigan Panthers. Just thought I'd get that breaking news for you.
Thank you.
Since we are a live show. So 2-year deal. He stays at Ford Field and gets to kick him. You can kick year round in Ford Field, at least this year, spring and fall.
At least you don't have to go anywhere.
Exactly. He knows the area well. So getting back to my point, I believe it's on Shiloh Sanders. Just because daddy's living lavishly doesn't mean you have to do it. You have to establish yourself on the field, prepared, play professional, worry about it later. And Deion Sanders deserves a lot of the blame too. He should have told his kid, hey, money doesn't grow on trees. You still have to perform. But I blame it on Shiloh this time. I really did. There's no reason why a college athlete should be filing for bankruptcy in college. That one doesn't resonate with me at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what, too? Also, Scott, you got to blame Deion too, because he should sit down with him and say, "Hey, look, you can't be doing this." But then again, look at Deion. I mean, did he bank his money? He's a head coach in college. I mean, here's a guy that made millions and millions of dollars, Scott, and he's a head coach in college. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'd bank my money and enjoy my life after I got banged up on the field. Chuck Noll always once said, "Don't make this your life's work." And that's as simple as that. Football's not anyone's life's work because you don't know what's going to happen the next day. So, I mean, find yourself something that you can go to whenever football's over. And there's a lot of these kids too that don't do that. And then they go into the NFL, they make all this big money and spend it. Like Leo said, they need to be educated. They need, the universities need to come up and do something. I'm going to give you an example here. I was a bus driver for the public bus system here. We had drivers that were buying boats, expensive houses, working 200 hours of overtime, doing all this other stuff. So for the first year ever, and it was my class that they did it in, that they actually sat down and taught us about finances, balance your money, don't work 200 hours of overtime. Watch what you spend it on. Don't go out and get, boats and go on exotic vacations and spend all this money on buying Corvettes and all that stuff like that. That's great to do when you retire, guys. But when you know what I mean? We're talking about a college student. We're talking about a college athlete. That's exactly what we're talking about here. And this to me is to me unacceptable and disrespectful to the college athlete who there are some of them out there who are decent kids. But now this guy, or this Shiloh Sanders, is making other college athletes who make money look bad because of what he's done.
All the more what I just said, Ralph.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I said that Shiloh Sanders is the one ultimately to blame for it. I said ultimately to blame. But he's got a bigger, hold on, Ralph. He's got a bigger advantage over anybody else. His dad played professionally in a high-profile college guy and did a lot of other stuff. Deion Sanders deserves a lot to blame on it, and he should have been a little bit more, forceful or more persuasive to his kid. But Shiloh Sanders, is the one to blame. But you know what? In life, you take a negative and turn it into a positive, right? Now all these guys here are looking at Shiloh Sanders with all this big money. And we need to get out of the horse and pull back the reins a little bit is what we have to do. So it doesn't happen to us.
But guys, I'm going to throw a different slant on this one. Do you think maybe this was orchestrated because the Sanders family wants to become the African-American Kardashians? All of a sudden, they're back out in the news. They declared bankruptcy. Well, anybody can declare bankruptcy. I think Donald Trump did it twice.
Right.
What is he declaring bankruptcy for? What does he owe? Is this a media ploy to get the Sanders family back in the spotlight?
I don't know.
Who knows? But I would take a long, hard look at that before I go. Maybe they want the blame. Maybe they want that airtime. Maybe they want that 15 minutes of fame again.
So what do I have? Another LeVar Ball situation on my hand, begging for airtime, and nobody's going to put him on?
That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Well, good. You stole my Celtics thing, so now I took your LeVar Ball thing. But here's the thing that we have to understand when it's all said and done here. Okay, number one, Deion Sanders, what was he, 4-8 his first year in Colorado? I'd like to see the improvement he has in second and then third year. And now his team is in a much more improved Big 12. So Deion's going to have to start winning some football games as a head coach in the next 1 or 2 years too, because, this could blow up in his face for going to Colorado when if he had waited a little longer, he could have gotten a better job. But so there's a lot of moving parts here. There really is, in a sense where Deion needs to put some more wins on the board, but then all of a sudden this kid is filing bankrupt I think premature. And the Kardashian analogy, Leo, I think is a pretty interesting, candid one. But I actually agree with you on this one. I really do. But Dion needs to win football games, and Shiloh has to get better as a player. Because remember, Michael Vick declared bankruptcy, right, for a while. And what happened with him? He got it turned around thanks to the guidance of Tony Dungy and Michael Vick. Even though he made mistakes that landed him in prison, seems I hear he's cleaned up his life and he's doing just fine.
Yes, he is. He's doing really well. And it was, the Pittsburgh Steelers gave him an opportunity after that dogfighting incident. And, so he is doing quite well. Okay, guys, we're going to go into our closing segment here, brought to you by Fold Travel Mobility, 1-877-GOT-FOLD, 1-877-GOT-FOLD, foldandtravelmobility.com. Listen, if you're in a wheelchair, as I am, and I have a folding power wheelchair to put in my vehicle, why? Because when I go to the amusement park or I go to an event in an outdoor concert venue and I cannot steer myself, I need the power chair to get around. It's a lot easier and a whole lot more convenient. So please call Fold. If you're handicapped as I am, call Fold and Travel. They even have financing. So if you can't pay straight outright, they'll put you in a financing plan. Fold and Travel Mobility will do whatever it takes to get you into a folding power wheelchair. So please go out and get one today. Foldandtravelmobility.com or 1-877-GOT-FOLD, Fold and Travel Mobility. And we're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios, 724-2010-500 Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Start with you, Scott, your town. Sort of like what we do on Fire Up.
My town. Yeah, well, you're stealing my thunder. I'm glad you take the best of our show and put them on this incredible show. My town, what's there really to say? The Panthers have a chance to close it out. Miami Dolphins have gone out there and added Calais Campbell. Obviously, played University of Miami. We'll see if this is his last stop as well. So, we'll see. Right now, I'm just looking forward to having a relaxing day, making more. I have more meetings lined up with people with the book, and I think the book to me has really been great because now I have an opportunity to go out there and continue to get it out as time goes on. And I'm looking forward to taking what I've created in South Florida and marketing it in a couple of weeks in Greensboro when I go to the National Sports Media Association convention. So that's about it. Obviously, I expect the Panthers to get rid of the Edmonton Oilers either tonight or this series won't last more than 5. I predict it ends in 4.
All right, Leo.
You know what, guys? I want to take the segment a little bit differently. I don't know if you saw Francisco Molinari yesterday. He's coming to his last hole, par 3. He has to get a hole in 1 to make the cut. And doesn't he hit a hole in 1? It was the most unbelievable thing. I mean, the announcers there making fun of it. All he needs is a hole in 1, and here the daggone ball rolls in the cup. And he ends up in the cut. I tell you what, I'm looking at what's happening in sports right now. I really wish the media networks that cover golf, especially, stop pretending that Tiger Woods even has a shot at winning any tournament, much less a major. Because of age, because of injuries, and because of a plethora of young guns that have showed up.
Yes.
Scotty Scheffler, Molinari, Tony Finau.
Right.
I don't think Tiger's body can make it through 72 grueling holes. I just think it's the time that he needs to go to the Champions Tour, because I think that's probably where you'll see him win again, if he ever wins again. But he is the shadow of himself right now. And some guy came out, it was hysterical, said, one of the best bets is for Mickelson and Tiger to make it to the cut. I'm thinking, you have lost your mind, pal. Neither of them are going to make it. U.S. Open is a whole different animal. They're not going to be 20, 25 under par. 10 under par is going to win this, or 11 at best, because when you see them go off the fairway into U.S. Open rough, it's like going into the backyard of a field. It's just
right.
ugly. So, guys, check me out on Facebook. Check me out on Facebook. check me out on YouTube. We've got our own station there, and we're going to go into a little bit of hiatus because for a month I go out working football camps. I'm heading up to New Jersey next Saturday morning to run football camp up there, then out to Tacoma, Washington, and back to Massachusetts. So I've got a pretty hefty schedule coming up, but I'll find a way to get on Saturday with you guys.
All right. Thanks, Leo. And Scott, oh, yeah, you already, it's my turn. Wow. Jeez. Sometimes I didn't eat my
Well,
weed.
I didn't give my other information, but I'll wait
Go
for
ahead.
you if you want.
Well, go ahead, Scott, if you like.
Lessons from the Microphone available on Amazon as well as Barnes & Noble. Again, please subscribe to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel as well. We have all of our broadcasts on there. And our website, which is done by Candy Ebling, www.southfloridatribune.com. And she also works with Ralph on Thursday night for Fire Up. Good job there. And one other name I want to mention here, look for this young lady on future shows. She's my little student called Kate Aitchison, and she's just a young 20-year-old student out of the University of Alabama learning to go out there and get in this business. She's asked me to mentor her, and when you have a young 20-year-old girl like that reaches out to you, it makes you feel pretty good. So that's a name that everybody should look for down the road, Kate Aitchison. And I mentioned it today because tomorrow's Father's Day, and she views me as a father, so figure.
Okay, guys, I want to wish you guys a happy Father's Day as well. I have a daughter that's 35. She lives in Arizona. Supposedly, I lost track of her. Her mother took care of her. She was adopted, and we have reconnected over the last 3 years. So it's great to be reconnected with my daughter, and she lives in Arizona. So anyway, I am a father, and my father passed away last June. There was some politics involved in this, but I'm not going to go into it here. But he passed away last year, right before Father's Day, and his birthday is 1 week away from Father's Day as well. So I want to dedicate this show today to my late father, Ralph Williams II, and it's the 1 year anniversary of his death. So I just want to go into that a little bit. And my Father's Day is going to be a little bit different than most others. So, as far as that goes. But anyway, so that's my story of my Father's Day. But the thing I want to talk about is the Pitt Panther football team. You got all these people in the alum of Pitt and the athletic department and doing what Art Rooney II does, accepting mediocrity. Okay. When you're in college football or you're in the NFL, you want to win the biggest game of your life. That's the Super Bowl and the NCAA championship. Okay. There should be nothing else in between. All right. But in college football, there are 6,000 bowls that you can win. Pitt has accepted this mediocrity for so many years. I can't remember the last time they were actually really good. Well, oh, yeah, I do. And I watched it is when Jackie Sherrill and Dan Marino was the quarterback. Okay. That's the last time that Pitt has ever been extremely relevant. All right, or has done anything to win any kind of big-time bowl games or anything like that. All right, a few years back, they won the ACC championship with Kenny Pickett. I get that. They were in a bowl that he didn't participate in. All right, then on top of all that, okay, we've had some other issues. They continue to keep signing the coach. They're doing the same model as the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing with Mike Tomlin and not winning anything. We're not getting 5-star athletes in here as recruits. We're only getting 3-star athletes. Okay, we have guys leaving to go out of the transfer portal. There's something wrong with this program. And the problem is they accept mediocrity. And then they complain when there's nobody at the football games. Well, I'll tell you why. It's because the people have had enough in Pitt of accepting mediocrity. And that's my town story today.
Hey, by the way, Ralph, I texted Candy that you mentioned added the My Town segment, and I think she's going to get a big first-class smile when she's.
Yeah, well, I was stumbling to come up with something. I guess we could call it our closing time or something like that.
You can use My Town. It's not patenting it. Who cares? I mean, hey, listen, it's a copycat league, right?
It's not LLC, is it?
Hey, she'll love it, man. She don't care, pal.
Hey, I used Peter's thing today. Bring your passion. You know what I mean? He always says.
You could have called it overtime. Right?
Yeah. Well, here, okay, I got a new segment we're going to do. It's called the Quickie in a Minute. Let's talk real quick. Take about 1 minute to talk about it. The UFL championship is tomorrow. 5 o'clock on Fox. Birmingham versus San Antonio. Scott, your pick.
You know what? I got to go with San Antonio for one reason. Wade Phillips is 76 years old. He's never coached on the sidelines as a head coach in all of his years. So I'm pulling for San Antonio tomorrow. 55 years in the business, 76 years of age. I got to pull for Wade Phillips. And bear in mind, Wade Phillips, son of Bump Phillips, Skip Holtz, the son of Lou Holtz. Oh, I don't know if there's anything like fathers like sons. And I did an episode on Inside the Pigskin this week on the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. So, like father, it should be fun to watch.
All right, Leo, go ahead with your pick.
Well, you know what? I have a very close personal friend, Karen Lawrence, who lives in San Antonio. So I'm not going to make her mad. I'm taking the Brahmins because you got to be smart about that, right, guys? But
right.
You know what? I'm just happy this league is going to survive. I hope it can, because football is football. Everybody wants to watch it. And
hey, I love it.
With the Battlehawks in St. Louis, man, they were just drawing everybody. So, yeah, I'm taking San Antonio to beat the Michigan Panthers.
Well, I'm taking San Antonio as well, guys, and this is going to be a triple here, because the reason I'm taking them is because I can't stand Skip Holtz, and I'm tired of Birmingham every year winning. So I think it's time for, like you said, Scott, Wade Phillips to get his due to win a championship, and I would love to see this happen. And also, the San Antonio Brawlhaws have the most former Pittsburgh Steelers.
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Leo, just so you know, I don't know what week you're watching, but just to let you know, San Antonio's not facing Michigan this week. It's Birmingham. But if it makes you feel any better, there's a town called Birmingham, Michigan.
Is there really? Wow.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of money there.
Yeah,
so
that's a big suburb.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of money there.
Oh yeah,
guys.
All right, you can reach me at Ralph Williams, RW Media on YouTube. I've been having some issues broadcasting live on Facebook because of some new stupid rules. So I've been having some issues with that. Some other of my media colleagues as well have had issues. So we're only broadcasting on YouTube, the Twitter X platform, and Twitch right now. And I'm working on some other platforms. Also, I'm working on getting on MixLR Radio, Mixler Radio, and I'm also going to be on PCTV here in Pittsburgh. So it's going to be Sports Corner TV, and we're going back on radio, Mixler Radio, on internet radio as well. We're going on to that as well. As soon as I come back from my vacation, July 10th, I'm going to make this explosion happen all across the country and in the Pittsburgh area. Also, you can reach me on Twitter X and on Facebook as well. I post a lot on Facebook, and I'm starting to post a little more on Twitter X as well. So you can catch me on those platforms. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. My goal was to get to 150 by the end of the year. I'm already at 148. So if I meet that goal, then I'm looking at 200. I'd like to get to by the end of the year. Subscriptions to my YouTube channel. For Scott Morganroth, Leo Haggerty, I'm Ralph Williams. Until next Saturday, have yourselves a great week, and be safe and stay cool. If it's hot outside, please don't go. Please, if you don't need to be outside in the heat, don't go out in it. And also, please watch your pet. All right. Until next time, I'm Ralph Williams, Scott Morganroth, Leo Haggerty. Have yourself a great week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Father's Day.